You're good.
Trying to do the Tobey Maguire meme.
Oh, yep.
Oh, we're back.
What's going on, everybody? It's been a while.
We're here, like, actually here.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, we're hanging out.
We're here.
And it's not even like a, has to be here for a ZeroHp. I mean, it's like, hey, you're here, let's do a Mason Mystic.
we might as well do ZeroHp stuff since I'm here.
If we didn't have this show, we'd just be watching a movie.
We'd be watching a movie. We'd be playing games.
Yep.
Shooting the shit.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking
Eating food.
Eating food, which I hope...
We got the woman making dinner.
No, we really do.
Yeah, no.
She's out there slaving over a hot stove.
Yeah. Oh, at least it's cooler out now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What are we watching today, man?
Today,
Sound like
we're going to be viewing Gladiator.
Gladiator, man.
You claim this...
Yet another top 10 of mine.
You interrupted what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
You claim this is one of your top 10 movies, but that doesn't have the impact now
I'm
that
sorry,
you
I'm sorry.
just said it before I said it.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm going to go.
I get excited.
I'm going to go.
Mason, I get excited about these movies, okay?
All right. What I know about this
I was
movie...
just going to ask you. So perfect. We're even now.
Okay, we're right here.
Because I was just going to ask you, what do you know about
this
this
movie? We've been podcasting for 5 years. We're right here. Here's what I know.
Okay.
In a nutshell. Russell Crowe.
His first big movie. This movie made him.
Not even that much. I just knew that Russell Crowe.
Right, but I'm filling
was
in the
involved.
blanks about what you know.
Gotcha.
This is like the movie that made him a star.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yep. Also a movie that put him on the map.
It's about gladiators.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Perfect. That's all you really need to know.
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott directed. Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's all I got. Never seen it. I know a lot of people are probably thinking like, okay, there's no way he really hasn't seen all of these movies that we're claiming he hasn't seen, and you can vouch I really just have not.
No, he doesn't. Yeah.
I was more,
What I find interesting about this whole experience that we've had is that it wasn't something that you were really necessarily into or interested in for a while, but now for whatever reason, it's not like you're not dying. You're like, oh, you have to see all these movies. But when I show them to you, you tend to like really enjoy them, and you're like, I'm really glad I saw that. And I love that, and it's like
I've never.
Cool.
I don't think I've ever not enjoyed something you've shown me. I have stuff you've shown me where I was like, nah,
not as much.
I won't touch that again.
Sure.
But I mean, some of it is my favorite shit now. So
yeah.
I think it's good to be exposed to more things. I was never being shown this stuff before, so let's fucking dive on in, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't. Anything I should know before we get going?
Not too much. I did kind of want to get in because I feel like this is like one of the first real historical movies we're doing. Am I wrong about that? I don't think we've done like any war movies.
What do I feel like we did?
I remember we were watching Saving Private Ryan, but that was before Mason Mystic.
Yeah,
and you had already seen the movie anyway.
Yeah, long time ago.
I feel like we'll have to go back and look, but I feel like this is the first like historical
Because we've
drama.
done 3 or 4 of them. We did Blade Runner. We did Star Wars.
Children of Men, Godfather.
Yeah, maybe
and Godfather isn't really based on anything.
Right. More of a
the
portrayal.
characters in this movie are, well, most of them, not all of them, are at least loosely based on real people.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and anyway, I don't want to get too far into this because I kind of want to talk to you about it after we've seen it.
Cool.
But basically, all I'll say is that there are 3 types of historical movies out there. There's horribly inaccurate.
Right.
Just like, why are you even using the history in the first place? There's historically authentic, and there's historically accurate.
Explain the difference between authentic and accurate for me.
So I've been talking about this for a long time with people that like to talk about movies, and I didn't know how to put it into words. And I watch a channel called History Buffs on YouTube. It's fantastic. And he outlined this, and he made a video about everything that goes through my mind, because I think about these as a big history nerd. I think about this all the time. I'm like, how do I describe the difference between something that's like to the letter accurate?
Yeah.
And that was it, authentic and accurate. Accurate is like they put the year down, the year's right. The person did this. Gotcha. It's correct. That everything they say is correct. Like there's nothing you could pick apart. They didn't change things. They didn't move things around. Authentic is less about did we get every little thing right, and more about after you're done watching it, is the person who's leaving the theater thinking about that time and relating it with that film, and are they, when they think about that, is their vision that's been conjured by this movie at least somewhat accurate? Like if they walk away from Gladiator thinking, wow, like Roman emperors were like this, or like, wow, like that. That was a. It seems like the whole way the whole Gladiator process works. Like, oh, wow, I didn't know that they did that. All of that is accurate. It looks correct. A lot of like the themes are totally true to Rome. The things you're going to see inside. In fact, if anything, the actual Gladiator arena is a little tamed down of how outrageous it got. I mean, they filled that thing up with water and had sea battles in there in real life. Insane. And so, but like there, like trapdoors and all that kind of stuff. Like you could have gone way ahead and not made this. It feels very realistic. It's not like 300. Like that. This is like very accurate movie, but the events, like the actual historical events, are not accurate. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does.
So like nothing that happens major wise to any of the characters really happen, but when you leave the movie, and if you feel like you're a little bit more like slightly knowledgeable or like have like an idea of this cross section of Roman history, you're correct. Like it does a good job of looking and sounding and it's being true to its source material,
right? Yeah.
Even if the historical events are not accurate.
Okay, cool.
So that's sort of the authentic and the accurate.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, guys.
Sounds good, man.
Gladiator.
We'll see you in a minute.
The general became a slave. The slave who became a gladiator. The gladiator who defied an emperor. Only a famous death will do.
Frost. Sometimes it makes the blade stick.
You find yourself alone, riding in green fields with the sun on your face. Do not be troubled, for you are in Elysium, and you're already dead. Brothers, what we do in life echoes in eternity.
I like you, Spaniard. I shall cheer for you.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Loyal servant to the true emperor, Marcus Aurelius. Father to a murdered son. Husband to a murdered wife.
And I will have my vengeance. In this life or the next.
Today I saw a slave become more powerful than the Emperor of Rome.
Strength and honor, strength and honor. I knew a man who once said death smiles at us all. All a man can do is smile back.
Smile for me now.
There it is. There's it.
Dude.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, no, yeah, I liked it a lot. Like the main, like my final, not final thought, but like if I had to describe,
sum it up.
If I had to sum it up in one quick little excerpt, if you will, really long, but not in a bad way. In a lot of movies, you get the feeling that it's like there's a lot of fat, a lot of kind of this and that. We watched the extended version, so there was a little bit of that.
Just to really quickly interject there,
yeah.
The extended added like 4.5 minutes.
Right, so there's a very little bit of.
I thought it was gonna be like 45 minutes. It was,
in my opinion, kind of weird.
There was no point.
Awkward.
Yeah.
extra scenes.
Theatrical was the best version.
Yeah, absolutely. And but this was a movie that was almost 3 hours long and never. It felt really balanced the entire time.
Like pacing?
Yeah, pacing wise, it felt really good. It felt like it had to do everything it did to tell that story,
right.
Which I think it did really well. One thing I went to immediately was the action scenes. To me, never felt dragged out, which, as an action fan, will even say, like, can get really old in some movies, especially these kind of movies where just sword fighting for like an hour, and it just doesn't happen.
No, they're like punctuations, and you never really know what's going to happen, and they're so fucking brutal.
Yeah, they're
like,
brutal, they're
realistic,
quick,
and
to the point.
Yeah.
It doesn't. There's no like show business behind it. You know what I mean? As far as the action sequences go. For the rest of it, dude, I mean, where do you want to start?
I don't know. I mean, it's like you're right. It is a long movie. You know, a lot of those sort of historical epics are. You know, what I think is interesting for Ridley Scott is like prior to this, he had a bunch of great movies from like Thelma and Louise to Alien to Blade Runner. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, isn't that funny that he?
I forget. Yeah, I do.
He had some bad ones. Like 1492 was god awful, and like you know sort of the same thing. And then like this was the beginning, in my opinion. Obviously, Alien and Blade Runner are incredible films, but this was like a crazy run here. That was 2000. 2002 was Black Hawk Down. 2005 was Kingdom of Heaven, and 2008 was Body of Lies. It was like all right through there.
Killed it for almost 10 years.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, we could start anywhere. Like I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what you were expecting beforehand. Like you know how sometimes, obviously, I try not to hype stuff up too much so that you don't get the wrong idea of expectation. But
I mean, we can start with like the casting, right?
Yeah.
Russell Crowe as Maximus, I think, did really well.
I still think it's his best part. I'm not a huge Russell Crowe fan.
I'm not a big enough fan to criticize just because I don't know a lot of what else he's in. I mean, like I know he's everywhere, but I couldn't name him his filmography for you. You know what I mean?
He's got a few good ones. You know, I mean, a few. He's in Body of Lies, actually.
Really?
Yeah, he plays a really cool part in that. He's just kind of one of those actors. He's just sort of like stoic, and it works perfectly in this movie. Yeah. And in other movies, it's like, yeah, you're boring. You know?
Right? Yeah, it works well in this movie because I would say, you know, as a percentage, he doesn't speak that much throughout the entire movie. Really, I mean, there's a lot of other things going on, a lot of exposition, but he doesn't have like long and drawn out dialogue scenes where he's making a huge impact. His impact comes more through his actions in the movie, obviously through more than what he says. There were, and I'm not nitpicking, it's not a bad thing. There were parts to me that were kind of like one-liner-ish, kind of like quippy little like the blade gets stuck from the frost and then he cuts his head off. But like that was cool. But there's not very much of that. I was just saying, like the few times he talks, sometimes it's like
little he says a little thing,
but he does it well, you know what I mean? He has that low tone, kind of like you said, stoic voice, very heroic, but very like,
well, I feel like his character himself though, like he's one of those people that would sit in a room with a big argument and never say a word, and when the argument reaches the very tip thing, he just comes in and says the one thing that just ruins everyone's opinion.
I think he was thinking the whole time.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's not someone who's going to just...
he's not someone who would say something to say something. He's going to say something when it means something.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
When he speaks up, people listen.
And I wonder, you know, if obviously he plays that character really well. I wonder if that's just a personality thing for him.
Maybe so.
That they were looking for, like, in that character. If so, it was casted really well. I mean, I don't know if what they were going for was some, like, crazy, over-the-top, heroic... You know, apart from...
Well, that's the thing, is like nothing to me... This movie, you could make a Gladiator movie that is crazy over the top.
Yes, you can.
Well, I mean, the show... I don't know if you ever saw any of the show Spartacus.
No, I was told it was good.
It was decent, yeah. I mean, the first couple episodes are horrible.
Really?
But then it picks up.
Really?
And it's very good, but it's like 300. It's very stylized.
That's a good example of over the top.
It's extremely stylized with like rock music and like and like, you know, just tons of just sex, and it's just like this over the top. Where like I just Gladiator, it goes for realism. You know, it's like, no, they're going for way more for what it actually would have looked like.
And even going for realism, you could have added more sexualization in the movie, which they didn't. There was none of that at all.
Yeah.
They didn't need it. They told the story really well.
They could have had some weird, like, incest thing if they wanted, but I just
it was there.
It would have felt gratuitous,
but it felt under the sheets. You know what I mean? Like we didn't. No, I didn't mean to go for it. Like, I didn't mean to do that.
That was
perfect. They weren't. They were hinting at it kind of, but they weren't like putting it in your face.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that.
That was perfect.
Kind of a transition into keeping with the characters and everything. The guy who played the antagonist, Joaquin Phoenix, I don't remember his character's name.
Commodus.
Thank you, Commodus. I just gonna call him Caesar, but I was getting obviously this came before Game of Thrones, but I was getting adult Joffrey vibes.
Yeah,
they're crazy in their own ways for sure. He wasn't like cut your head off and hang from the thing.
He's
crazy.
petulant.
Yeah, he's petulant. He's kind of pathetic.
Historical sources, they could have made him crazier.
Really?
Yeah, he was
psycho crazy.
Yeah, he was off his fucking rocker.
Jesus Christ. They made him very whimpering, very pathetic.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you saw him in his real light, it was very like, they don't like me. Very whiny.
Absolutely.
Very attached to his sister.
Yeah.
But not like in a sexual way, more like in a mommy way.
Mommy.
Yeah, like he just wanted to like lay with her.
Well, and he even says as much to his father, basically, you never loved me, you never hugged me.
It's so weird.
And and in some cases it's probably true.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? He probably grew up in a sterile environment, everyone ignoring him all the time.
When your dad's running shit, it's what's gonna happen.
Your dad's gone forever, and you're the emperor's son, so everyone does everything you tell them.
Exactly. No one's honest about their feelings.
And Commodus was fucking crazy, and he killed a ton of people, and he what I like about Ridley Scott, most of his historical movies, he's got some historical bad ones, but his good historical movies do a good job of balancing the story, which is usually not necessarily accurate, but like the themes that it's telling are really true. Crazy, paranoid, immature Roman emperors causing all kinds of problems, totally accurate.
Yeah.
The idea that a general can create so much loyalty with his troops that he could actually be a threat to the emperor, like he's trying to escape.
Right.
Totally happened multiple times. So that was very true to Rome. The idea that they're in the the beginning, the intro battle scene is fucking pitch perfect.
It's so good.
Like all of it, like everything from that. Marcus Aurelius, the old man, the father. Totally went down as a stoic philosopher.
Yeah,
we have a lot of his writings and stuff. And Commodus did actually fight in the arena.
Oh, he did,
and he did exactly what he did in that. They would super wound the guys and then make him look like a badass,
like bullfighting.
Yeah. So he would go in and kill these like unarmed dudes and
bitch.
He was like a lot of things you get from that movie are accurate to history, but the actual plot line is not true. And Maximus is a fictional character.
Oh, gotcha.
Fictional character, but
man,
yeah,
no,
man.
It was so good. Like I said, it was balanced really well. I liked all the acting. There was a couple, I don't want to say cameos, but a couple other appearances, because this is obviously an older movie, of actors and actresses that I've seen more recently.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, it's that guy.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know his name, but the guy we were talking about with the scars.
Yeah.
Mr. Knife Fight outside of a nightclub when you're working as a DJ.
We just looked him up.
Chibs from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
If you ever watched that, the Irish guy. He's really good in it. For the few times you get to see him.
Yeah, I mean he's not in it too much. But...
Yeah, but he plays an important part. I mean, you kind of like you see him at the beginning and you see him later on, and you're like, oh yeah, he's in there. Yeah, I forgot he's doing his thing.
Djimon Hounsou.
Yeah, I didn't know his name, but I was
love him.
Yeah, he's so good. He plays a really good role. Everyone, as far as the acting, even the people we don't know the names of, they all played it really well.
Good writing. I mean, the script
really,
is fantastic. I'd say the only part of the whole movie that I'm not like the biggest fan of is her kind of speech thing at the end. He was a soldier of Rome. I don't know. I mean, it's not bad. It's just
no, yeah, totally. I get what you mean, and like we talked about earlier, how there aren't a lot of like drawn out sequences.
Yeah,
like you get a whole movie with none of those, and then you kind of get a little bit of it at the end.
I don't think like none of those guys are gonna be listening to her, and like the emperor just got killed. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? It's a little
weird.
It's a little like Hollywoodish. Like they were gonna be all, but that was more about the story. Right. That was more of a theme thing in the sense of like, you had this good person who just gave his life up trying to do the right thing, and all that whole motif there. But
the whole motif. But I do like the obviously spoilers. I do like the scene at the end.
Yeah, 17-year-old movie.
I know, right? Hey man, people get mad about it.
Hey, you haven't seen it.
I do like. That's a good point. I do like the scene at the end when they're kind of carrying Maximus out.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
the Emperor's just lying there.
Yeah, they just leave him there.
Nobody's even looking at him. He's dead. Like, but
did you like one of my favorite characters in the movie? Definitely is Proximo,
the older kind of mentor.
Gladiator.
I don't want to say mentor.
He was like the Gladiator showrunner. It was his.
He's almost like the corner man.
Yeah, well, and you'll learn, like, if you ever do end up watching that Spartacus show, which the first season was, I didn't watch it after that because the actor died.
Oh.
And they replaced him. I'm like, I can't watch it.
Okay. Yeah.
But you kind of learn, like, these, I can't remember their names, these masters who they're like coaches, you know.
Yeah.
And they provide the food and the training facilities
Give
for
you
these.
some money.
They have money, you know, like they're like
yeah.
these rich, and they're like general managers or whatever, and they own these teams that they did a really good job in Gladiator, kind of showing like how that worked. He's like, you know, bartering for the slaves, and I just appreciate when movies like this, you know, obviously slavery is a terrible thing, but they don't shy away from the fact that it was part of life then, and that they don't demonize Proximo for buying human beings because that's what he would do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like the friendship that they end up getting, and
yeah, it is kind
know.
of like a weird coach-fighter kind of relationship, like in a weird comparison kind of way, just except like he could die any day, and the other guy could be like, all right, time to buy a new
damn
one.
it, you know,
But,
it'd be like losing a playoff game.
Yeah,
like
fuck, all right, well, it cost him some money, but he'd make it up.
He'd already made all
on
the
the
money.
back end. He'd make it up.
Yeah.
I do like the kind of like gambling aspect they touched on because that would totally be a thing. And
Absolutely.
I'm sure it was.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I kind of was disappointed with the way he died.
Really?
Yeah, just because like it showed before he was kind of looking at his like I'm assuming the sword he used and
that was so I think like the dogs were barking or like dinner was ready or something when he talked about that.
Yeah.
That sword, it's a wooden sword that Marcus Aurelius gave to him when he earned his freedom that had his name on it.
Yeah.
And he knew, like, once he crossed that courtyard and those Praetorian guards saw him let Maximus go, that they was going to kill him. So then he goes and he grabs and he holds on to his slave that won him his freedom, and basically, like, knowing that with his freedom he would die, choosing to let the good man go and do the last thing. I love that line when Maximus looks at him and tells him, "Are you in danger of becoming a good man?"
Yeah, exactly. That kind of
That's so good.
I'm not saying he should have died a different way. You know what I mean? I think it went out like it would have, like it should have. But I wish I would have seen him put up more of a fight as like a former champion, if you will. You know what I mean? But it made sense that he got worked by like 10 guards.
Yeah, 10, and those are like a Praetorian guard. Like,
he's not going to do anything.
Special forces troops. You know.
I do kind of like the prison riot that ensued a little bit. It was pretty cool. A lot of those guys died. I'm assuming
again
all of
that
them.
kind of harkens back to the actual Spartacus. You know, there was a rebellion. Like, it's all these things that are like the events we're seeing didn't happen, but they're all inspired by some sort of like kernel of truth. Yeah. Which is all I really ask for in it. Just,
right.
Just get the idea right.
Right. That's fair.
Which is pretty cool. But yeah, I love that movie. And something I hadn't forgotten, but I didn't think about it, is how good the music is in that movie.
Yeah,
like,
really good.
Holy crap.
Yeah, right as you opened it up, you and Alyssa were both like,
yeah,
so good.
I was like, wow. Oh man, Pirates of the Caribbean stole that song, by the way. Dun, 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 dun. It's like one or two notes different.
It works really well. It was all done. It was all done really well.
Yeah, I love the fight scenes. Like that's what everyone talked about when the movie came out. It was just like, you know, that my favorite fight scene for sure is the freaking chariots in there.
Oh man, what a bunch of chaos.
God, it's so good. She gets cut in half by the thing. Oh my god, there's like so many moments. Anyway.
Exactly, and that was another example of a scene that you could have really drawn out. But like they didn't. I mean, they got to work really quickly. I mean, they killed one guy and it kind of caused a bunch of chain reactions. Everyone crashed and it was pretty much over. But but it was done really well. There was no unnecessary heroics or.
No heroics, nothing like that. And it was like you said. I really like your point of pacing. Like as soon as there's been 20, 25 minutes of kind of dialogue, and you're like, okay, and boom, here's a fight scene for you. Bam. It's 10, 12 minutes long, ends. More character and dialogue, and it's just like it just goes right up to the end, and it makes the time go by fast because you didn't realize you were.
No, I think it was all paced really well.
Any final thoughts at all, man?
No, man, I really enjoyed it. Thank you again, of course, for showing me another new thing I have.
I'm glad you liked it.
My exposure to Russell Crowe, I now have a lot more respect for him. I don't know.
I mean, in my opinion, it doesn't for him. It doesn't really get better than that. That's I think that's his best part.
Wasn't he in P.S. I Love You? Is that what it was?
Was he? I don't know.
Was that him? Is the other guy?
I'm not sure.
I always get him and like Gerard Butler confused.
Oh,
is that Gerard Butler?
I think that is Gerard Butler.
God damn it, he's in 300.
I get it though. He's in 300.
But you see what I mean? They're not
absolutely.
They're not totally different.
Oh, they're like buff, bearded white dudes.
Buff, bearded white dudes.
I totally understand. Understand that. I get that comparison.
But shout out to Gerard Butler. Shout out to Russell Crowe
and Ridley Scott, man.
And Ridley Scott.
He just knocks it out of the park. Like he doesn't. Not all of his movies are perfect or even very good.
It's never always going to be a W.
But when he does, they're always like masterpiece. And that shit won best picture that year. And...
Yeah, we realized. You may have already known. I didn't really realize it until you brought it up before we watched the movie that like 90% of the Mason Misfits we've done have been Ridley Scott movies.
Well, that's
with the exception of Star Wars. But
that's because of me.
Probably because your chest over there is probably only Ridley Scott movies.
He's my favorite director, so I'm very biased. But like, I'm not that biased because I'm willing to say he's got a lot of shit.
And you're honest about it, which already puts you ahead of everyone else.
But when like when he thinks of a movie that is perfect, it's basically the exact movie I would have made had I had the chance.
Yeah,
like we would make the same films if we could. And I think that's why I like him so much.
There you go.
So, thanks for watching, man. I really appreciate you taking 3 hours to sit down and watch Gladiator. And
it was worth it though.
Tell me what you guys are a fan of the... we've had a bunch of Roman screens.
We have, yeah. Weirdly enough.
Something going on here with these screens.
The monitor knows.
Did you guys like Gladiator? Have you seen it? What are your thoughts on it? Obviously, talk to us in the comments, and hopefully we'll have another Mason Misfit for you
soon.
Pretty soon. Hopefully soon. Sort of. We'll have like 3 in a month, and then we'll have like 1 in 6 months.
Maybe we'll do when I finish Dead Space. We'll do like a Mason Misfit.
Maybe we can play a little bit before you leave.
Post Dead Space kind of thing. That would be cool.
That would be fucking awesome. I'm down.
We talk about it.
All right, guys. Later.